If you're trying to work through your relationship after infidelity, there's a passage or a part of it that I think therapy is just so helpful with, and that's the revenge aspect. If you've been cheated on, you're going to go through a period where you are just wanting revenge. You are wanting to hurt your partner in the same way you've been hurting, or you want them to feel what you're feeling, that sense of grief, that sense of loss, that fear, that sadness, anxiety, insecurity, and vulnerability. And the reason you want that is because many times you'll feel it and you'll push it down because you tell yourself, well, you know what? We're all human when you're having a good day. But when you're not having a good day, those feelings of rage are so strong. And you may begin feeling like, maybe I got through this. Like, I don't feel revengeful. But that's probably because it hasn't happened yet, because the ego is so good at pushing down what we don't want to deal with, we actually can get numb to it. But once you start getting healthier, once you start getting stronger, those old defense mechanisms are going to wear down, and you're going to start recognizing and actually viscerally feeling that anger, that need for revenge. You may not even be aware that you're doing it, because when an emotion is so intense like that, it finds a way to come out. And sometimes, unless you're totally aware of what's going on, all your triggers, it may come out in ways that are hurtful to family members. And I want you to understand this so you can kind of warn them. You can be more aware, looking out for these. It comes across like this, like it might be hurtful teasing or saying you're just joking, destruction of property. You might want to hurt something of your partner's, hit something that he prizes or she prizes, or give it away, or do something to it that maims it or hurts it the way you've been hurt. You may be more critical. You may have a refusal to talk or listen to them. You may withhold sex. You may be aggressive toward your partner. You're so angry. You may threaten an affair. You may have an affair. In fact, revenge cheating is very common after infidelity, and I don't prescribe it, because what ends up happening is it doesn't only hurt your partner and possibly hurt the person you hooked up with if they had other ideas, but it's going to hurt you. In the end, it's going to make you feel less about you, and you're going to struggle with your worthiness after being cheated on anyway. So don't complicate that matter with having a revenge affair. It won't give you the satisfaction you think it will. In fact, it's going to take you further away from that. You're going to feel disgusted with the whole thing, which you're probably feeling with now. I am going to tell you some things that I think are very helpful, and you can start practicing them today. But the most important thing is, number one, find an outlet for your anger. You can't find an outlet if you're not aware of when it's coming up. So you have to get more aware of the anger, more aware of what happens in your environment that triggers it, where it's coming from. At first, it might just be washing over you, but as it goes on, it's going to be more specific. And once you have in mind what it is, what scenario, what situation, what cues, then you will be able to aim it better. And you'll be able to aim it into whatever your outlet is. Maybe it's getting together with other people. Maybe it's writing, just writing. What a creep, whatever your partner was for doing this to you. Selfish, egocentric, whatever it is. If you write it, You don't have to give it away. It's another way to catharsis. You can go to the gym. You can run. You can walk. You can ruck. Whatever makes you exert energy is going to help you control this, because you have to get the energy of anger out of your body without doing something that's going to destruct you or someone else possibly that you care about, and you're going to get through this and feel differently. Second, refocus on what you want. When you are able to sit down and make a plan on what you want, I'm going to travel more in the future. We're going to have more us time during the future. We're going to plan our budget together every month. Whatever you want, then you make sure that the marriage getting back together is mandatory on those things. And not only that, when it's a written plan, you can have two people working toward that instead of just you alone and then being sabotaged by your partner's behavior or what they were thinking at the same time. Focus on self-care. This is an excellent time to go to the spa, get a new haircut, do what makes you feel good. Maybe get some clothes, maybe whatever you can afford that's going to help you take care of you. When I say self-care, I usually talk about things you can do physically, but don't forget, you can take a class. You can maybe one of the problems in the marriage is that you don't want to talk about things. You don't want to explore things. Your partner may have said you weren't attentive. Doesn't mean that was the reason they cheated. That was all on them. But what it does mean is these are areas you can get better at, because even if the marriage doesn't work out, you will still have those skills. Maybe there's a cooking class. Maybe there's something you've always wanted to do. Include that in your self-care now and tell your partner, it's time I start taking care of myself, getting me back, the me that you fell in love with and that I loved at that time. And lastly, talk to your partner about how the two of you problem solve. Because when I'm working with couples after infidelity, lots of different opportunities to work things out are going to arise. So if you guys are on the same page, that might mean therapy. That might mean taking 30 minutes each day for real talk, not just superficial stuff, but I mean the real talk. You know, what did I do today to make you feel better about yourself? How did I help lift the load today? What could we do tomorrow as a couple that will make us feel more connected, more together? When you start working toward the healing process together, rather than one person trying to work on forgiving, which is true, you will, but the other person basically just waiting for you, you don't want that. You want both people working on the marriage and then you each working on your own issues separately so you can become focused and decide what you're co-creating together that's going to be better. In any kind of infidelity or any kind of betrayal, when the marriage does come together, it's important. That old marriage is gone. Whatever you guys did before, it's gone. So when we say we need you to let go of that and get into the present, it's because until we get into the present, we can't start refocusing, recreating, and moving into the future. If this video is helpful for you, please subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much.